Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. I don't usually say good morning, but of course we're live a little bit earlier than the normal. Obviously, I was busy last night, so we're doing the live stream today instead of yesterday. We're going to go through all of the latest Leicester City transfer news. Of course, Jordan Ayew has been confirmed as Leicester City's latest signing of the summer. We'll go through the latest link as well with Moroccan attacking midfielder Bilal El Khannouss. And obviously, it's match day. Leicester City versus Fulham, or Fulham versus Leicester City. I should say we'll go through that game, go through our predicted lineups, and look ahead to today's fixture away Craven Cottage, which is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, after Monday night's successful draw, I'd say, against Tottenham. Once again, we're joined by Locke, so we'll get him in a couple of minutes' time. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. There is a link in the title. Just before we do that, and to get into the chat, make sure to drop a like on the stream, subscribe as well, all that good stuff. You know what? Let's get Locke in right now. How are we, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Match day once again. So
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more buzzing than the last match day, I suppose, after the positive result.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all were. Obviously, me and Loxton, I think it was Sunday night, we did a live stream ahead of that game, and it's fair to say we weren't really expecting too much. So, yeah, I think today we're going to be a bit more optimistic. It's a tough game today, but you've got to be a bit more optimistic after that second half performance.
Well, we'll try, mate. We'll try. How long it lasts after 3 o'clock, I'm not sure. We've got a tough game, mate. I mean, obviously, Fulham are a good side. They've made good business and stuff like that. So, if we can do what we did in the second half, it's not going to be possession for us again. It will be hopefully not as bad as the first half against Spurs. But, if we can do our thing, what Cooper wants us to do and what did work in the second half, then, yeah, we can come out with the result for sure, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, Jordan Ayew will be potentially involved today. But I think Leicester managed to sign him in just enough time to get him registered for the game, so potentially he could make a substitute appearance. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But obviously, Jordan Ayew, our latest signing of the transfer window. What are your thoughts next? It's fair to say it's been a bit of a split between the fan base on this one.
If you ask me, I don't know, a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, or if you told me that I would be going on Leicester Spaces and YouTube videos trying to defend Jordan Ayew, then I'd say you're mad. But that's what I've been doing this week. I actually don't mind it.
Yeah.
Steve Cooper. This is a Steve Cooper signing, by the way, because I keep seeing people throwing shade at Rudkin and the recruitment team. This isn't them, they've maybe the price tag is them, right? But on Rudkin, but the actual player that is on Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper's made it clear in plenty of press conferences and interviews now that he's told the board what he wants. He's told the board what type of player that he wants, not just the position, but the actual profile. And this is what they've come up with on his request. I think we're still in the market for another, hopefully a goal scorer in number 9. But if you just look at Jordan Ayew's profile, yes, he's not a goal scorer. He's all right with assists, but the main thing seems to be his pressing stats, his tackling, interceptions, aerials, all of this type of stuff. Kind of like a pressing forward or a defensive forward type thing. So, and I think that, Steve Cooper probably wants that type of player in the squad to be able to bring on later in games. Of course, if we're struggling with injuries, then he might start games. But I just think this is a profile of player that Steve Cooper wanted to for certain moments in games, if you understand me. So, yeah, I don't mind it at all. He's experienced. He's played over 250 games, I think, in the Premier League, maybe even more than that. He was managed by Steve Cooper for a short while at Swansea. So again, if you don't believe that he's a Steve Cooper signing, he is. Trust me on that. And yeah, mate, I think it's fine. I think, I said this about the Skip signing. I think it's the order that they've come in is the reason that people are losing their heads. If we'd signed a 10, if we'd signed an out-and-out number 9, and then we made signings like Skip and Ayew, I don't think people would care. But because these two have come in first, people are starting to lose their heads. Let's just wait. Let's just calm down a bit. Let's wait till deadline day. And then if you're still unhappy then, fair enough. But, let's just be a little bit patient with what the board are doing and what Cooper wants.
It's one of them, innit? I think you're right in terms of the order of the transfers. Look, he's got Premier League experience, just like you said. I think Leicester are shopping in a different market than we used to be. I think some people are still expecting Leicester to be bringing loads of Europeans in with Champions League experience and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it's a bad signing. At all. I think the price tag is obviously is quite extortionate in terms of for someone of his age. But yeah, I don't think we can have too many complaints. Just like I was saying earlier, Ayew is able to play for Leicester City today. I don't think he will start. 2-year contract, which is slightly better than the 3+ years we have seen with some deals in the past, such as Ryan Bertrand and whatnot. So that's the positive on that side. But yeah, 5 million, which is going to rise to 8 million with the add-ons from Crystal Palace. Could he be a key man for Leicester this year? I think he probably could be in some games because, just like you said, I think he doesn't have the best of records, but last year for Palace he weren't actually that bad, was he?
No, he wasn't bad, mate. And I saw someone saying, I don't know if you saw I had a little spat with this guy on Twitter who's just constant, always fucking moaning at me for something, right? And he said, you're living in fantasy land if you think a football club can win Premier League games with Jordan Ayew in their side. So I kindly did a bit of research for him and put it out that Palace won 13 games last season in the Premier League and Ayew started 11 of them. So there's one for him. But I just think, again, like you alluded to there a little bit, this isn't our goal scoring number 9. This isn't somebody who's going to be relied on to score us goals and start games for us. This is a very specific profile of player. And from what I've heard, mate, he's really good to have around the dressing room as well. Apparently he's a good character and he's a hard worker. He'll do everything he can when he is on the pitch. And this is what gets me with Leicester fans. In the relegation season, I think we all could agree that we'd rather people with less quality, but people who actually tried and people who put a shift in. And now we're moaning at signings that actually do that. I have no doubt that Ayew will actually become a fan favourite eventually, just because, he won't be scoring many goals, but he'll give his all, mate. You know what I mean? He'll put everything into it. So, it is what it is. I think he was on 30 grand a week at Palace, I believe. And again, I hear people saying that we've probably given him 100 grand. I don't think so. I think maybe the 2-year contract on maybe 40, 50, grand a week. I think that's probably what brought him to the club. So again, I'm not disappointed with it really. As long as we make other signings.
Yeah. 100% agree. I think it's a good player to have around the squad. He's going to know people like Fatawu as well. He can go and help Fatawu as well with his development and whatnot. So he's not. I'm not saying he's like a Premier League world beater, but he's been there, he's done it, and he can help them players get through. Anyway, before we move on to the next player, let's get back into the chat. I'll be sat right here, Matthew, mate, while you're sat in a Wetherspoons in Fulham. Anyway, not fun. I'm good with Ayew as long as he's not played as a striker, solid player. He's flexible across that front line as well. He's played in multiple areas, which is obviously a good asset to have. And look, if Leicester are going to get injuries this season and we need someone to step in, and look, if Leicester didn't get someone like Ayew, we got an injury, people would then say, "Oh, who can play up front? We don't have anyone unless Tom Cannon." But yeah, it's a good player to have any. We'll get into predictions a little bit later on. Cheers, James. These are already about 5 pints deep. Do you reckon we'll start Ayew? I can't see him starting. I could probably see him potentially come off the bench, but I'd be surprised if that happens as well. Obviously, he only joined.
Well, you know what? It's funny though, because I was saying yesterday, obviously Vardy only played 6 days ago, and it would be interesting. It would be funny, I think, more than anything, if he did start Ayew, just to see the reaction of certain Leicester fans online. I don't think he should be starting. For all the good things I've said about him, I don't think he should be starting. But if Vardy's knackered, if Vardy's still not ready for another game, then we've got no option, have we? It looks like Tom Cannon's now actually going to be going out on loan to Sheffield United, more than likely now that we've brought Ayew in, which I don't agree with. But if Cooper don't like him, then Cooper don't like him. He's not ready for the Premier League allegedly. So hopefully he can go out on loan and improve.
Yeah, definitely. Personally, I don't think Tom Cannon is ready, but I think this hopefully can free up a spot for a loan move, and I do hope we can get a few loans and sales sorted, because obviously it looks like we're potentially spending over 10 to 15 million on Khannouss, which we'll be discussing a little bit later on. Let's get on to him now. Obviously, this came out of pretty much nowhere. Once again, there was a few talks of it in the last couple of days, but it looks like it could potentially be happening. Major breaking news: Leicester City 100% on Moroccan attacking midfielder Bilal El Khannouss, I think it is. A bid around 15 million to 20 million will be sent to Genk, a 4-year deal as well. So we'll get into who the player is in a minute, but just on initial looks, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, mate, I mean, I use my trusted FB ref. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we'll
you
get that
use
up in
that
a
as
minute.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, if you're gonna bring it up in a minute, then yeah, exactly. It's just looking wonderful, mate. I mean, he
Hmm.
looks like he can. He's not much of a goal scorer, but he can create chances. His passing seems to be on point. Aerials as well, for which isn't a
Yeah.
statistic you normally see in a number 10, but he's got them tackling so he can win the ball high up the pitch. Oh, there you go. You got it up. So yeah, mate, he looks really good. He looks like a really good number 10. I think, the worries of the number 10 position died down a little bit when we saw how good Facundo Buonanotte was.
Yeah.
He'll still start loads of games this season, but you can't just put all of that on one 19-year-old kid, Buonanotte. You need to
Yeah.
be able to share those minutes out. And if we are signing this guy on a permanent, well, this is our future number
Yeah.
10, because Buonanotte is this season is the only time we will ever see Buonanotte in a Leicester shirt. I am 100%
Agree.
convinced by that. He's just signed a 4-year deal. His price tag's going to be ridiculous for years to come. So he won't be playing for Leicester again. So I think it's really important that, yes, we've got this magic guy on loan, Buonanotte, but now we're also going after this guy as well, who can be our number 10 for years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting prospect. I think yeah, just like I said, if we get on a permanent deal, I think it's going to be a big signing for us, because it's all good getting experience in, but it is good to have some youth talent coming through the books, and this could be it. Just to look at his underlying, his age, his position, whatnot. He's 20 years old. Obviously, mainly an attacking midfielder, could potentially go on the right. His market value, according to transfer market, is 30 million euros, which is obviously quite high for someone of his age. I believe he played in the Olympics for Morocco as well. I don't think he's
Yeah.
played too much for the main team. But yeah, this guy's definitely got some talent around him. Obviously, he's playing for Genk right now in Belgium. Apparently, he wasn't a part of their team or squad announcement, I think, for today's game or whatever. So that obviously can tell you something in
Yeah.
terms of a potential move to Leicester. In terms of it, in terms of Morocco, how much he's played? 14 appearances for the main national team, which isn't too bad going for his age at all. Obviously, I believe he was born in Belgium by the looks of it. Obviously, played there for a bit as well. But yeah, I think underline wise, he's still very unknown, granted. But the last time Leicester's made a signing from Genk was, I believe, Wilfred Ndidi, and that turned out to be pretty good, didn't it? Or ish.
Mate, honestly, this one is exciting. This one I
Mm.
think could be the most exciting one of the transfer window, and that's a transfer window that we also permanently signed Fatawu. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's got loads of potential, and he's highly rated. I mean, you saw the market value there, 30 million euros. It looks like we might be able to get it for less than that, which is good.
Yeah.
Other clubs have been interested, but we seem to be the only ones willing to pay. And this is why I said to people that when the Skip deal happened, when people were saying, "Oh, why are we spending 25 million on Skip when we need to spend it
Yeah.
elsewhere?" I think we will spend it elsewhere. Clearly, the club are still spending money. They're still okay with splashing another 20 million out on a player. So yeah, it's good stuff, mate. It's promising for sure.
Definitely. If you can hear the noise in the background, I got a train going past, so ignore that. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's well annoying. But yeah, it looks to be promising signing, doesn't it? If we can get him in over the next couple of days, get him secured before the deadline, that's obviously the main thing. Obviously, we now got a week to go. I believe it's on the 31st, isn't it? After the Villa game next Saturday. But yeah, just like you said, for that type of price, if we can get it low, there's not too much competition. I think that could be a potentially shrewd bit of business. I'll just go through some of his stats as well. I won't spend too long on him because obviously we want to move on to the game in hand today against Fulham, obviously away from home. But his underlying numbers aren't fantastic, but then again, it's not all about that for a creative midfielder. He could be doing other stuff, which is obviously important for us. But yeah, just to 3 goals and 6 assists last season in the Pro League in Belgium. Got a bit of experience in the Champions League, Europa League as well, which is obviously beneficial, and in the Conference League, 1 goal and 2 assists in the Olympics as well for Morocco. So for his age, he's got quite a bit of experience at a pretty high level as well. But I think his underlying numbers in terms of of his tackling, his his progressive passes, his pressing, all that type of stuff is much more positive. And if he can get them numbers good, the goals and assists are only gonna improve with good strikers around him and good wingers and whatnot. So yeah, I think overall very good.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, I know Buonanotte is still so young, and but he's played minutes in the Premier League before, so he's more experienced. He'll be our most experienced number 10, which is crazy thinking about he's only 19.
Yeah.
But adding this player again, like I've said already, I think it's only a good thing. And yes, Buonanotte is probably maybe better in the short term right now. Bilal El Khannouss is definitely going to be our number 10 for years to come. So yeah, it's exciting stuff, mate. It's exciting stuff for sure. If we can top it off with another striker, I've still got a feeling we might go back in for Fotis. Ian I've just got this feeling we might go back in. If we did, I'd be happy with that. But even if we're left with Datro Fofana on loan, which I think most Leicester fans are expecting, I still think it's quite a good window at the end of the day if we bring in Bilal as well. So
yeah, I think in my opinion, I think the Datro Fofana is definitely going to happen now. I don't think he's been linked to anyone else, has he? So another train, but yeah, I think that could be happening. Before we talk about today's game against Fulham, I was going to quickly get into the chat. Sammy Smodics obviously went to Ipswich indeed. It's one of them with him. I think Ipswich have obviously in recent weeks seem to be signing a lot of players quite quickly again. I don't think it will gel for them just like that. We saw it with Forest a few years ago, but yeah, I think Smodics is a good player, but yeah, something just a bit off about him for me. I think for Leicester, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, well, the thing with me with Ipswich is the names and the players that they're bringing in raise an eyebrow. Sammy Smodics, Calvin Phillips, Jack Clark now from the Championship from Sunderland. But every player they're signing is good enough to just start for them, which means it might unsettle the squad a little bit because you've got these players coming in that should be going straight into the first team, and the players that obviously were already in the first team are the ones who are going to miss out, who are going to drop out. Whereas the players we're bringing in, yes, we're adding to the first team, but even then, we're not 100% convinced if they're better than what we've already got. So it seems more of sharing minutes kind of thing, like Skip and Ndidi. In my opinion, Skip's better, but I still think their minutes will be shared. I don't think it's a case of we'll see Skip starting every game. You know what I mean? I think Ndidi will play some, Skip will play some. So, and Jordan Ayew, he's going to be coming in as a depth player, whereas Ipswich's squad might be unsettled by these players coming in. Because, I mean, these are players that Ipswich are... I mean, they were 18 months ago, they were better than Ipswich, and now Ipswich is signing them for the Premier League. It's pretty nuts, but I don't know. Part of me thinks they're kind of recruiting for the Championship again. You get what I mean? The players like Smodics and Jack Clark, and so don't get me wrong, I would have liked Jack Clark, but I think Ayew is a better signing than Smodics for the type of player he is, because I just don't think we needed a Smodics, if I'm honest. People disagree, but yeah.
I think in terms of Leicester's recruitment, it's not been the most extravagant, great out of the blue, crazy signings, has it? But it's important signings because for the last few years, even when Leicester were doing well, we always had this issue around squad depth and we didn't have enough players to come in. But I think now, we haven't got the best of players, but we've got players who can come in different areas of the pitch, and that's the most important thing. If Ipswich get a few injuries, they are stuffed because they've got League One players, Championship players on paper to come into the side, and if Leicester get injuries, we've got much better Premier League experience to come in, and that's probably going to be the difference. Because let's face it, we are going to pick up some injuries this year. Hopefully not too many, but it's inevitable when you're playing Premier League. Obviously, last year we didn't actually get too many, to be perfectly honest, for what I expected. But yeah, I think we are going to get injuries, and we need players to come in to replace them. Yeah,
and if you go man for man, I mean, I'd prefer Fatawu to Jack Clark, or
definitely.
So I'd rather Vardy to who is it they've signed up front?
I think Broja as well.
Broja, I'd rather Vardy right now. So, Christensen, Leif Davis, that's a close one actually.
Yeah,
but then again, you look at Vestergaard and Fast. Yes, we have doubts about them, but they were two of the best centre backs in the Championship last season. They've got
yeah,
Premier League experience. I just think our signings seem to be not as exciting, but
yeah,
they might just end up being smarter
yeah.
than Ipswich. So, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Let's get into the chat. We'll discuss Fulham Leicester in a minute. Datcher from Farner, yeah, I think it will be Datcher, to be perfectly honest. It seems I still heard a little bit about that ongoing, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get him in. Potentially alone as well, because do we have the money really to go in for someone else now? If we get Bilal El Khannouss in, I'm not too sure. Like I said, if it doesn't work out, we can sell him for a big European team. Yeah, exactly. It's got profit. It's that type of player who can bring you profit as well in future years. And if he does really well at Leicester, it's going to be very difficult to keep hold of him. If he comes to talking about striker, I assume there. Not the number 9. If you mean like number 9 in terms of the position. Alvarez promoted surely, potentially. I don't think he was. Was he on the subs against Tottenham? I don't think he was he? No.
No.
I think that tells you quite a lot.
It's a weird one again, mate, because he seems to be training with us, and he's
Yeah.
not training with the under-21s, and I don't think he's playing for the under-21s. He's training and playing with the first team. But yeah, it's just a bit weird. Again, maybe Steve Cooper just doesn't think he's ready, and if that is the case, I'd rather him go out on loan than be playing with the under-21s or just training with us and not playing.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of going to a top 10 championship team and doing a good job there. So I think we should be exploring that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think people like Wanya Marcel as well should be going out a lot on loan. I think he's a very good player. So I think if we can get minutes for them guys, we saw it in Dewsbury. We had them multiple loan spells to Blackpool, Luton, and he came back and hit the ground running, and that's what we need really. And look, if Leicester do go down next season, let's hope this season. Let's hope we don't. But if Will Alvarez can get a loan, he can come for us back next year, and he can be an important player for us. Fingers crossed. Yeah. It looks like it's pretty close. Obviously, it's not Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein, but the source still seems to be quite reliable. So I think it probably will go on and happen. I did hear about that being hijacked. Yeah, I didn't really use a logo, for God's sake. Use a photo from about 4 years ago. What's his score prediction? Yeah. Should we do predictions now? I don't know. I said to Lux before we started, I think we might win, and that's not me being purely, based off that second half against Tottenham. I just got a feeling. We never really do too well against Fulham, and neither does Steve Cooper. So me being realistic and kind of hopeful, I say 1-1, and if we get a 1-1 draw again, I'd be very happy with that.
So obviously, as you mentioned there, we lost 5-3 to Fulham last time we played them. It was the double as well. We lost 1-0 at the King Power Stadium.
Yeah.
Steve Cooper got beat 5-0 last time he played Fulham. Steve Cooper's away form at Forest. He won 2 in 2 years, or 1 a season. So all these things fill me with dread, but I think it's going to be a bit of a bringing down to earth for us. I think a lot of Leicester fans are rightly so more confident than we were before Spurs. But I just think it's going to be really tough, and in a way, I think it might be harder really than the Spurs game. I don't see us struggling as much as we did in the first half. I think we'll have a bit more impetus about us, but I'm gonna say I'll back us 2-2. I'll back us 2-2, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2-1, 3-1, something like that. But I'll back 2-2. Yeah.
It's one of them though. Look, I'd take a point, but then again, if we do want to stay up, we do need to be getting like the odd win in these type of games as well. So it's a tough one, and especially at the start of the season when they can sometimes catch these teams off guard a bit. It's got potential, but I thought Fulham played all right against United, and they've always seemed to be quite well. They set up well under Marco Silva. They made some smart signings as well. Smith Rowe's going to be making his home debut, so he's probably going to go and score. But yeah, it's a tough game, but if we can get it right, play like we did in the second half, there's no reason why Leicester can't go out and go and get something today.
I think we will look to counter them, like we did against Spurs in the second half, because I think, when the other team is in possession, Fulham are really well structured and it's hard to break them down. So I think if we try and hold the ball, it might be a bit difficult for us to have any success with that. But I would agree. Yeah, counter-attacking football, I think, again today. And then obviously, I mean, I don't know if you're going to ask me about the team news, but I mean, I think there's a tough decision to be made, really, for Steve Cooper, because Oliver Skip, I think, could come in. Mavididi could come in. It's tough, mate. But does he want Bobby to play against his former team? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one of them. Talking of the team, then I'll quickly get mine up. Obviously, we did this last time. I made a couple
Okay.
changes.
Right.
I made sure to put Fato on that right. I put that the wrong way around last time, to be fair. But yeah, this is what I've gone with. So I believe it's a couple of changes. I brought Ricardo in at right back for JJ. I think Ricardo can offer a lot more. I've stuck with the rest of the back three in terms of Christian, Valfaz, Vestergaard. I've started Skip instead of Ndidi alongside Winks. Buonanotte in the attacking role once again. I thought he was fantastic on Monday night. Fatu from the right, Mavididi to start this time on the left instead of Declan Reid, and obviously Vardy to lead the line. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Declan Reid started again. It could well be the same team, to be perfectly honest, but this is kind of how I want us to play.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't joking when I said it's really tough, because I think I would like to see Skip come in. I just think we'll struggle too much in that first half. I think Skip is better comfortably with the ball. He's more comfortable with the ball. I think, as you saw with Ndidi, of course, he can be a destroyer in terms of winning the ball back and stuff like that. But Skip can also do that. But the difference with Skip is he's just better with his distributing the ball quickly when he wins it back. He's more calm in that sense. Whereas indeed, he seems to kind of lash at it sometimes and panic. So yeah, I'd like to see Skip in. Other than that, I'm not sure. I think JJ had a really good game. I just think he suits the right centre back role better when Christensen pushes on.
Yeah, that's true.
And JJ tucks inside. I think any changes that are made will just be purely tactical. Again, the reason Declan Reid played, I believe, is to offer a bit more balance, first of all, in coming back on defence. Mavadidi's not the greatest at that. And also the fact that with Christensen pushing on, it means that left wing spot, Mavididi or Declan Reid, actually cut inside, really, and become a second number 10. I was looking through Buonanotte's stats for the first game, and he was actually playing very much on the right side as a number 10, a bit closer to Fatu. So we may see Declan Reid again, although Mavididi played as a number 10 in pre-season, so he can quite clearly play that, left winger coming inside. So yeah, it's tough. The banker for me would be Skip for sure. And then I'd say maybe JJ as well, but the rest of it could be anything, mate.
Yeah, I think this is obviously a very attacking team. In terms of what you just said, obviously, I think Buonanotte did come on the right for a bit for Brighton as well in his first season. So when attacking, it could honestly look something a bit more just like this, and obviously the back three will kind of took over.
Which is yeah. If you do that, mate, I mean, if you move Christensen up a little bit more, what does that look like? That looks very much like Enzo ball last year, doesn't it? And I think that's the key point, actually, because Cooper said he didn't want to change too much, and there's a different. I don't know. We're ending up with the same numbers in attack as we did with Cooper, but the way we get there is slightly different. With Christensen being the one to get forward. So yeah, like you said, mate, it's interesting what he did in the first game, and it'll be interesting to see what happens this time. But I agree with you on the most part.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some good elements in terms of possession. Enzo ball against Tottenham. Obviously, there was that chance where obviously Vardy came in behind. I think it was Buonanotte flicked it to Declan Reid and whatnot, and then the ball obviously found Vardy. Probably should have scored it, to be perfectly honest. You wouldn't want it to come to a better man in that area, but yeah, there's definitely similar elements. But obviously, Leicester play much more direct and look to win the ball up high. I remember Buonanotte, we won the ball so many times for that 15-minute period, and if we can, obviously we can't sustain that for a whole 90, else we'll be knackered, but if we can do that in moments and try and catch Fulham off guard today, that's definitely an opportunity to obviously hopefully break the deadlock and we'll score. Let's get into the chat then. I think Ayew will be our Fatu backup more than anything. Good defensive stats that can be subbed on. Yeah, I think his defensive stats definitely tell me that he's a Steve Cooper signing, 100%. Tom's going 2-1 to Leicester. I take that. Alves low move. Yeah, obviously we said I think that'll be good for him and it will benefit the club and him. Thoughts on the Bayer Leverkusen centre back? I have seen this going around. Honestly, I don't really know too much about the player, so I ain't really got a clue.
We don't need him. We don't need him.
Yeah. How sure are we? I think it's pretty close, to be perfectly honest. Potentially get an update soon, but according to the journalist, it's pretty much a done deal, 4-year deal. Fees been agreed or whatnot. Going 2-1. Castagna own goals. Faz obviously playing Timmy today as well. It's interesting because obviously played Madison against Tottenham, Castagna today. Tillerman's obviously Villa. So yeah, Jack, hope you're doing all right. 4-0 Fulham, nice and positive. We'd love to see it. Bobby Declan Reid hat trick. I'll take that. Yeah, Adama Traore. He's got all the pace in the yard, but he's got no end
He's
product. But
fraud.
knowing,
He's a fraud.
knowing Leicester, he'll probably have it at some end product today, and he'll back. But yeah, Troy, baby hug merchant. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think Christensen's a very good player. Honestly, I think even when we got relegated, I still thought he was one of our better players. I remember that cross against Wolves where he found Castagna at the far post. That was fantastic.
And it's like a new signing, isn't it? Having him in the team, it's like a new signing now. So, and people said he didn't want to be here last year. No. Enzo did not want him. Look at Chilwell now, So, that's what the issue was. So I'm glad to have him back, mate. He's one of our most passionate players. He's one of, what I mean? He was celebrating free kicks and corners and throw-ins in the relegation season as well, and on Monday night. Yeah. So I think he's a massive player for us. Yeah,
definitely. It's a tough player you need in the side as well, and I think in terms of his playing ability as well, it's obviously fantastic. Hoping Steffi starts potentially. Be interesting to see Steffi's role this year. Obviously, it's only the first game, but be interesting. I think the whole defense should be unchanged. Yeah, I thought defensively, we were under the cosh a lot in the first half, but I didn't think we were too bad. Obviously, they had a few chances, but there was nothing like drastically clear cut. There was mainly just a few crosses, and obviously Porro got on the end of one, which was always quite difficult to defend that ball which comes in the flick header. But I thought overall defensively we were quite good, and then second half I thought we were pretty decent as well. I thought Vestergaard especially had quite a good game. The rate Declan Reid. I think it's still early. He's not the type of winger who's going to set the world alight, but I think he's a solid little player for us, and he's kind of similar to Ayew, who's got that experience, hasn't he?
And versatile. He can play across the whole front three. It's just again, it was free. It was a free deal. He turned down a new contract at Fulham to come to Leicester. And he's like I said, he's versatile, so he's a great utility player to have around if there's injuries and things like that. He's a hard worker, so it's a good signing.
Yeah, in terms of Mavididi, potentially sub option as well. He's not a bad player to bring off the bench if you want a bit of pace and dynamism going forward. That could be an option which Cooper uses, but obviously Staffy himself isn't going to want to be that sub option for the whole season. But in some games, it's definitely a possibility to use him in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he came on, didn't he, as a striker against Spurs, and he offers pace. The pace he has, it will be good on the counter attack. I think he'll get upset quite quickly. I think if he's not starting many games, and I think he deserves to start games. But at the end of the day, if it is for a tactical reason, if Cooper thinks Bobby is best suited, then we're just gonna have to trust that and see what happens. But I can imagine he'll get unsettled quite quickly if he doesn't start.
Brady'll collapse, does it? Interesting.
Yeah, just seen it. Yeah, Fabrizio's just confirmed it's on the verge of collapse. So, would you rather him over Fofana?
Ooh,
I would. I think I would.
Yeah, I don't know. Broach is a weird. Obviously, he had that injury, didn't he, for Chelsea? But when he was at Southampton, he was a really good player. But obviously, that's quite. It's a good few years ago. That so it's potential. But if he can, I think if he can find a good place, I reckon he can. He can do well. If he I think I'll take him every day of the week up or something like that for Fofana. But
the problem is it's the money in it because we're gonna have to buy. They want a loan with obligation, don't they?
Yeah. That's it's a tough one. I take him, but it's just on the finances. But could be potential. I haven't really. I don't think Leicester have been linked to him much. I know there's a little bit of talk at the start. I think. Cheers, Tom. Thanks for coming in, mate. Solanke scared of Vestergaard. Oh, yeah, Solanke he picked up a little injury, hasn't he? I thought Bro's an interesting one. I think, just like I said, I just think he needs somewhere settled because he's never going to get minutes consistently at Chelsea. was at Fulham only last year for a little bit, I think.
He's mate. He's a
Yeah,
good number 9. He's not the biggest goal scorer in the world, but in terms of like beating his man, holding the ball up
yeah,
quite well as well. I think it could suit us. I just think Chelsea want a loan and then 30 million quid obligation to buy at the end of it, which is
is it? Yeah,
crazy numbers. You know, it's nuts. It's a lot of money, you know, for somebody who's still, I would say, unproven, just because he hasn't been consistent with what he's done.
yeah,
So and with the nasty injury as well in the past, so it's a bit of a risk, I think. So if we
yeah.
can get him on a loan, or if we can get him a bit cheaper than 30, you know, maybe 20 or something like that, I think it's probably a good move for us. But
Mm.
again, if not, we'll probably just be stuck with Fofana anyway. So
Yeah, it's one of them really. I think if Leicester stay up, it could work out to be good. But if we go down and then have to obviously buy him, it's going to be pretty detrimental. So
or he'd
yeah,
probably cook in the championship though, wouldn't he?
oh yeah, yeah, you
Probably be
would.
mad.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah.
probably over like -10, but you know, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Might as well do it at this point. I don't know when that's
Yeah.
going to come, but yeah, I think we've pretty much gone through everything. Obviously, all the latest rumours and whatnot. Obviously, a week left of the window, so there'll still be a couple more transfers to hopefully come in. Maybe 1 to 2 potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Potentially some outgoings as well. But yeah, I'll be back
Mm.
live about 5:30, 6, going through the Fulham game from today. Hopefully discussing a win. A big thanks to Locks for coming in once again. I think we're doing a video tomorrow on yours or like a match review, aren't we? So make sure
Yeah.
to tune in. But you just want to tell the people where you can find the channel, so put it in the title as always.
Yeah. Obviously, it's brand new YouTube channel. It's only been going a week.
Yeah,
So we just hit 200.
it's pretty good
So
for a
yeah,
week. Yeah,
feel free to hit subscribe on that. There's literally content out every day, every day, every other day, something like that. So, and then yeah, as Josh said, I'll have a match review coming out tomorrow afternoon, probably at some point with Josh. So
yeah.
yeah,
Good
blue
stuff,
tinted
mate. Thank you
glasses.
for
I didn't
coming
even
in.
say the name. I didn't say the name. Blue tinted glasses, LCS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. But yeah, thanks for coming, mate. Much appreciated. And I'll see you on Sunday for that one. But yeah, cheers, pal.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
See you later. There we go then. Big thanks to Locks for coming in once again. Obviously, he was with us on Sunday night, I think it was, for the season preview. So yeah, loads of you guys in the stream today as well, which is much appreciated. Didn't really expect it for an 11 o'clock one. So make sure to go and drop a like on this stream, as I always say, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Support in the last couple of days has been weeks, I should say, has been very, very good. Last few comments before we wrap up. Would I like a Leicester documentary? Potentially, I think it'd be interesting, but if they can do it in a way which doesn't get in the way of the players and whatnot, maybe. But yeah, it's them stuff are very materialized. It's some stuff's kind of pieced together and in certain ways to make something look like it's not. So it's one of them, really. All right, lads, good to see both of you. Good feeling for the game today. I do, yeah, I do, yeah, I agree. I don't know what it is. Like I said, we never do well at Fulham, really. Even at home, obviously, just like Locke said a couple of minutes ago. When Leicester got relegated, we had that infamous 5-3 defeat where you probably let's not talk about that one. And obviously, I think we lost 1-0 at the King Power to a Mitrovic goal. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough game today, but you never know. I just hope we can come away with some sort of result, and even if Leicester do lose, I just hope we can put in a good performance and to try and build off that Tottenham game. But if Leicester can pick up another point, then we've obviously got Villa before the international break. If we get 2 points, I think Villa's going to be very hard at home. If we get 2 points, I'll probably take that. To be perfectly honest, but it's important to try and pick up that first win of the season because, like I said, if Leicester do want to stay up, these are the type of games where we need to be, at times trying to pick up the odd 3 points. If we can do so early on in the season, it's a time to try and catch teams up. But yeah, good to have the Premier League back. Second match week of the season. As you can tell, I'm not at the game today. I don't think it's pretty impossible to make the game at this point. But yeah, I'll be at Crystal Palace for the next away day. But yeah, just like I said, I'll be live about 5:30, 6 o'clock, going through the game with a match reaction. So make sure to tune in for that one. But yeah, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you in about 5 to 6 hours time later on the channel, boys. Lots of content today, and big up, we're not the Leicester, and we're going to get 3 points. Bobby Deckled over Reed, double. You heard it here first.